Okay, I think we're live. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome. My name is Louis. We are here again with another BoSTEM virtual career chat. Welcome if you're joining us. We are super excited to have you participants. Just want to highlight briefly as you are joining us today, we can't hear or see you participants because of privacy concerns. Just know that if you want to ask questions or if you have comments throughout this session, feel free to use the chat box feature down at the bottom of the screen. But without further ado, I'm super excited to jump in today's discussion. We are going to talk about a career path into a STEM company, which is really exciting, looking at a math perspective, particularly accounting and finance. I don't want to say too much because our guest today is going to talk all about their experience at their company today and how they established their career pathway. Today we have Soufiane joining us. Soufiane, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. Please introduce yourself.
Excellent, Louis. Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. So my full name is Soufiane Younoussi. I work at Alnylam Pharmaceuticals. I'm the assistant director, associate director for revenue accounting. And I've been with Alnylam for about 6 months now. And prior to joining Alnylam, I worked for a public accounting firm named Ernst & Young, shorts EY, people say EY or Ernst & Young. And I was there 11 years before moving to Alnylam. So I was originally born in a West African country called Niger. After high school, there was really not a whole lot of solutions for me with the universities that were there locally. So my parents were looking for a good opportunity for me because I was really good at math and physics and chemistry. And we happened to have good friends in France who told me that they could find a school for me, and accounting was one of the options. And really, what convinced me that accounting could be a good career choice for me was the fact that I love math, I love numbers. So fast forward, I went to Paris. I started with an associate degree there. And when I finished, I wanted to further my education, so I moved to a city called Orléans. It's in the center of France, where I did a bachelor's and a master's in accounting. And when you're an accounting major, one of the best ways to get your career started and learn as much as you can and get all the exposure you need is to work for one of the so-called Big Four. So Big Fours are the four largest audits and audit, tax, and finance companies in the world. So if you're interested in its PwC, it's Ernst & Young, EY, where I ended up working, KPMG, and then Deloitte & Touch. Those companies have offices in over 100 countries around the world, and they dominate really the market. It's extremely competitive. And one of the criteria was to speak English really well. And at the time, my English was somewhat shaky, so I decided to go for a study abroad program. And I ended up in Tennessee. So I extended my program for 2 semesters. And when I graduated, I came to visit a friend in Boston. And while I was here visiting, I got a job at a hospital in Roxbury, doing accounting work for the hospital. I ended up getting an interview with Ernst & Young, and I joined them. So I'll say one thing I want to talk also about accounting is people have this conception that, accountants have those big glasses, they sit behind the desk, and they just crunch numbers. And to be honest, if that's really what the stereotype was, and if the reality was that way, I wouldn't be doing this job. The job is extremely dynamic. You need to be a people person to be a good accountant, because really what you do is figuring out what's happening in the business and make sure that you get those to be meaningful. I've also worked with some big banks, and in my career, because the skill sets is so versatile and universal, you can work anywhere in the US and to that effect anywhere in the world. And as you're getting more senior, you're getting more experience, the sky is the limit to what you can do. So I spent time in Canada, for instance, when I was at Ernst & Young for about 2 years, helping out with an audit there because they needed somebody with some US skill set. So I'm extremely passionate to have more diverse people in my field. And so in that regard, I'm involved with an organization called NABA. It's the National Association of Black Accountants, where we give scholarships. We do speeches in high schools and colleges to really encourage more minorities to come into the field, and those who are studying and maybe struggling, give them some tips and advice on how they can overcome those, and also help financially. We do give scholarships. I also do, I'm involved with the MSCPA, so it's the Massachusetts Society of CPAs. They're very involved in also helping people who are in the accounting world here in Massachusetts to excel, and the diversity is a big focus for them.
What was it like for you to kind of grapple with math? Was it easy for you? Was it challenging? And if it was challenging, could you talk to us about some supports that you had? What were some mentors or outside things that helped you kind of be better at math?
So you don't have to be the very best at math to excel in accounting and finance. You need to have this logic mindset. So I just want to make sure our students who are listening to not be discouraged if they are not the best at math in their class. So the more you exercise, the more problems you try to solve, the better you become. So practice is really the key here. Just practice, practice, practice. You may try the first time, it's not going to work out. You should not be discouraged, because again, those people who are really good at what they do, if you ask them how they get to be as good as they've been, it's all about practice. They've tried, they failed, but they didn't stop. They try again, they try again. They ask questions. Asking questions is also key.
Soufiane, we're nearing the end of our session here, and I'm wanting to hear a little bit more about, what it was like for you to kind of make those transitions from home in West Africa to France, and then also to the States, if you are currently living here in the States. Am I assuming correctly?
I love traveling. My father used to travel a lot, so when I was a kid, I just wanted to follow his footsteps and go see the world. So when the opportunity to go to France came up, I was very, very excited. And then I'll say 6 months in, when I was in France, then I got really homesick. It was tough. It was tough. First time I left my family, all the excitement fell off, and I felt homesick. It was difficult, but I was lucky to have a support system around me, people, friends of my family, and really open up. And they made sure to really make me feel comfortable. And once I got over that hump, then that was it. I just had the travel bug in me. When the opportunity to go for an exchange program come here in the US came, I took it, no regrets. And you can see I've actually never went back, and I ended up staying in here. So it's really that first step that may be a little bit difficult when you've never left your family. You have a little bit of apprehension, and then once you do that, then you see that you grow so much. You learn so much from just talking to different people, different cultures, different way of seeing, and that enriches you so much that you just want more and more and more.
That is so powerful. Soufiane, thank you so much for your perspective, your global mindset, your highlight of transitions, your advice about, STEM skills being applicable in the real world, and that concreteness that our students can really grasp. So powerful. I just want to thank you again for your advice and your time for sharing your story today.
Absolutely. My pleasure.